Because one thing you got to remember, boys and girls, it's not going to happen. You're not going to get something unless you ask for it. You never get the job unless you ask for the job. Sure, somebody might give you a job, but if you really want something, you got to ask for it. You got to go for it. Don't wait for things to happen, make them happen. Right. And I realized I had to make it happen. So I convinced the owner to let me go in and announce the preliminary fights, which he did. And I look back at it now and it's like, I want to cover my ears. This is not the way I wanted to sound. And it's a lot different than I sound now, but it was what I cut my teeth on. It was my first experience. Then they did not hire me, but they called me back about 6 months later to do UFC 10. That was UFC 8. I appeared at Environment Puerto Rico. Then they called me back to do UFC 10, which I did in Alabama. And I thought I did a good job. And I came back and thinking, oh, you're going to hire me now. And I tried to convince them to hire me. And no, they hired somebody else. Right. So then another 4, 5, 6 months passed. And I got a phone call that they were doing a TV show called Friends. And I'm sure all of you heard of the TV show Friends. There was one of the biggest comedies on TV. And they were doing a Friends TV show called The Ultimate Fighting Champion. And it was with Jon Favreau, who's an Iron Man and a big, big movie star and director today. And they wanted me to be in the show. And Warner Brothers sent somebody down to get videotape and audio tape of me to see how I looked. And they hired me to co-star as myself on Friends, which very few people have done. And when I did that, I used that as what I call my best poker hand to play. And the owner was on the set when we were filming. And I said, look, I'm on the biggest comedy on TV. I'm co-starring as myself as your announcer. I feel like a girl waiting to be asked to the prom, and nobody's asked me to the prom. So I'm going to ask you one more time. I want to be the announcer. I want to build myself with you and as the Octagon announcer and help you build this brand. I'll help you market this brand and make it big. And I'm a brand builder. Well, that was the best poker hand I ever played. And that's when they hired me. And I started doing every single UFC after that. One of the key reasons, again, is I was persistent. I went for what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. And I had a dream. And that's where it starts. It starts with the dream and the goal you have in your head. And if you can see yourself doing it and you go after it, then you should be able to achieve it.